I know that, but I don't want to throw you off. I only like throwing Brandon off guard.
I'm
It's
sitting
fun to
too.
do that.
For once, I'm sitting too tall. Let me get that. There we go. I got to match you a little bit. Okay, that's as short as I can get. Interesting. So,
welcome back to Coast.
What's up, y'all? I am not Brandon.
No,
I am
he's
not
not
Brandon. I'm not Brandon. He was on this last time, but he's got something actually really cool to do, and he has an excuse. His daughter's birthday's today. Yeah. Happy birthday, Brandon's daughter.
Happy birthday, Megan. Little girl. Baby girl, he says.
That's right.
Dude, so today it's a Let's Get Vocal, but it's another Perfectly Puzzled edition. We have the next round winner with us today.
That's right. So for a little bit of background, for people, we mentioned it last time, we partnered up with Mainstage Comps and Rebel Sky Radio to invite guests on that win every round, the top place winner, and that's what we're doing. So the competition is a Smule competition combined with a line app. That's how we kind of run the comp. I am I guess you can say co-creator, but I'm getting less and less of the co-creator title. Actually, I'm actually more in the background because they keep Nancy and Raven keep doing things without me, which is fine. I mean, they do a better job anyway, so I'm like less and less. Anyway, that's a little side there, but it's for autism awareness, which started back in actually March. We got going with it. So yeah, it's been a ride so far. We're we're finishing up round 3. We'll have results on that in a few days, and you'll have another guest, much like the one we had last week and this week. Mm-hmm. So yeah. With that, how about we listen to this winning song?
Let's play the winning song.
The winning song.
I actually really like this song.
You do?
Yes, I did. It was wonderfully done.
I did too. Here we go.
We are the muses, goddesses of the arts and proclaimers of heroes. Ah, yay! Bless my soul, Herc was on a roll. Person of the week in every Greek opinion poll. What up, bro? Herc could stop a show. Born to mad a monster and you're talking SRO. He was a no one. Zero. Now he's a honcho. He's a hero. He was a kid with his eye down pat. Zero to hero in no time flat. Zero to hero. Just like that. When he smiled, the girls went wild with ooh, tonight. And they slapped his face on every base. On every bus. From appearance fees and royalties. Our Herc and cash to burn. Now double rich and famous. He could tell you what's a creation done. Say amen. There he goes again. Sweet and undefeated. And an awesome 10 for 10. Folks like us, just the one to place. And this perfect package back to paraprinted packs. After he comes, he sees, he conquers. Honey, the crowds were going bonkers. He showed the moxie, brains and spun. Zero to hero. A major hung. Zero to hero. And who'd have thunk? Who put the grand gladiator? Hercules. Whose daring deeds are great theater? Hercules. Is he bold? So I'm braver. Isn't he sweet? My favorite flavor. Hercules. Hercules. My man. Hercules. That's his name. Hercules. Say it again. Woo! Bless my soul. Herc was on a roll. Undefeated. Riding high. And the nicest dog. Herc conceded. He was a nothing. Zero. Now he's a honcho. He's a hero. He ignites everything. Speed. Zero to hero. Zero to hero. Herc is a hero. Herc is a hero. Now he's a hero. Yes, indeed.
Wow. And that was Elif.
Making this song was so much fun. Hi guys.
So that was what's the name of the song, Elif?
Zero to Hero from
Zero
Hercules.
to Hero from the movie Hercules by Disney, right? Okay, that song it's got just so much. So we're gonna get into this a little bit later, but I do have to ask right now. What did it? I'm not a layer person. I mean, I can do a little bit of harms, but it doesn't Nick's the same way. We're not this full-on production Smule vocalist, right? There are a lot of people like yourself that could just master it. What goes into that with that type of song? Last week we had a different song, totally different song that had layers, but with this full-on production, what goes into that?
Well, to be honest, I like with big, huge ensemble pieces, I like most people would panic, but for the ensemble pieces, honestly, are my safe zone, I think. So it makes me just feel more comfortable adding those layers up. It's just easy for me, I think. And normally, if I have time, I test it out first, and I just do some trials and see if they fit. But I've been in other couple of comps, so I think I've been trained on how to build up layers. Like I tested out a couple of FX and see if they match together, and so I think that's what excites me most, because I'm not really comfortable with like main vocals, lead vocals. I would say I'm much more like a background vocals and an ensemble person.
We'll hear that a lot lately.
That's interesting, because I mean, your lead was fantastic. I mean, your characterization, it makes it easier, I guess. If you don't have one particular lead, you can be different characters. I get that, but still was amazing. It was an awesome entry.
Well, I got two questions. Number one, are you like, I've gotten different things. Some people are backwards, some are forwards. Do you find it easier to do your lead first and then add to that? Or do you find it easier to do all your background stuff and then sing your lead to it?
Well, honestly, I leave the hardest parts to the end, which is the main. That's for me is the hardest part. So I start with the easy ones, and I start just building up the layers. And then when I think it's ready to add my main, I just add it up and just listen back to see if it needs some more backings or like some additional layers into the ensemble parts. So that's how I build. But I start really silent. Like I build up like a couple of -12 layers in SF opera mostly. And then if it's like a huge ensemble piece like this, I also add super studio, but always starts from the bottom, I would say.
Okay, so you worked your way up. That's interesting. I couldn't personally do it that way because I don't know. It seems like I'd have a hard time getting my lead to line up with my back stuff.
Yeah, well, I used to do it the other way around, actually. Like I've just been on Smule for 2 years, I think now, and my first comp was like last year, February, I think, and I knew nothing about layers, and then suddenly they were asking us to build layers. So I was like, okay, how am I going to do this? I've never done a self collab, so I was really confused. But so I actually used to record my main first and then added the backings and those kinds of stuff. But if I'm just gonna add like a couple of layers, like maximum 10, I also start from doing the main, but with like bigger pieces, like more than 20 layers or like 15 layers, I would say I start from the backings and the ensemble parts.
Oh, gotcha. It's kind of funny when some people say, well, if I'm just doing a couple layers, like only 10, I'm like, what do you only 10?
Only 10.
It's a true measurement, real quick, Nick, it's a true measurement of how good this lady is, because she says she's been on like 2 years. I've been on like 7 years, and she's got over 7,000 recordings. I've got like, I'm cheating because I don't remember what it is, like 4,300. And that's like was mentioned before, that's not just us singing, it's actually joins too, but that's still a lot. And then over 2,500 followers, and I'm right at like 2,100. So she's way better than me, put it that way, to have all that, or more active. I don't know. She
might be taller than you too.
Yeah, definitely.
She probably is.
I think I I've been really, really active on Smule since the day I joined. It was 10th of July. I remember it so well because my cousin visited us, and like he was asking what I was doing in Sweden, what we were doing as a family, and if I was happy. And I was like, yeah, I'm like so happy, but I'm just staying home all day. I wasn't working back then. And he said, you like singing, why don't you open a Smule account? I was like, what's Smule?
What's Smule? Yeah.
Smule?
What is that?
So that's how
What
you
is
came
that?
across it. Somebody told you about it.
Yes,
Word of mouth. Yeah.
that was my cousin, and I'm really grateful. I mean, I used to sing every day at least once, but now then I started working, of course, so it doesn't work that way. Maybe if I'm lucky, I can sing like one time per week, but it's hard nowadays, to be honest, with the work-life balance and having families. It's always hard.
So your Smule name. Go ahead,
on.
Nick.
I got a question because this is just an add-on, and when I heard her singing, and we're talking now, it made me think of questions I've asked, but just with us, like, you know, I've never asked someone in another country. It's interesting that when we talk with you and when you speak your English, you have a strong accent to us, obviously.
Mm.
But when you sing, it sounds like perfect English.
I know.
And that has always blown my mind, how I can hear people that have a real strong accent, but when they sing, they're perfect English. It's amazing to me.
I know, like it's really strange to me too, but because I've heard a very similar comment from a friend of mine, and he was a Turkish friend of mine. I'm from Turkey, by the way, and he said, like, when you sing, your English is perfect, but when you speak, you have an accent. Like, it's obvious that you're not a native speaker.
Right.
So that's okay, but I think that comes from the ability to just imitate, I think, a bit, because I've been such a fan of theater.
It's easy to do that in a genre like country music because the twang, you can imitate the twang, and all of a sudden you're country. Not everybody can do it. It does take skill and not let it sound fake in country.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, it's like Keith Urban's another example.
Yeah. So hold on, let me get this straight. You're Turkish,
yes,
but you live in Sweden. So how did that transpire?
Yeah, well, we moved here 2.5 years ago for my husband's job, and we live in the southern part of Sweden. It was a radical decision, but we have always wanted to move away from Turkey. Not that we don't like our country, of course, but we also have a small kid. Like, she was 4 back then, and we were like considering moving abroad because we just wanted to have her a great future as well. You know, we were just considering to move because of her, I would say. And then he started applying for jobs abroad, and then one of them was in the US, and the other one was in Sweden. And then we just picked Sweden because it looked like a better choice, like in terms of safety.
I love my country, but I think you made a better choice for now.
Yes, you did.
just saying.
Yeah, and my husband used to live in the US as well, so he was like, Sweden would be better in terms of the safety of our child.
And it's not the country or even the idea of the country of the US. It's right now it's
a mess.
Yeah, I'm not going to leave it because it's my home, but I mean, I've traveled to Canada and other places outside, but I mean, making a move like that is huge. So having being grounded with Smule, I guess that's about the time you moved, was when you got on Smule, when you got to Sweden then, right? Is that what you said?
Exactly. Like,
okay.
I guess it was like maybe a couple of months since we moved when I like, maybe it was like 6 months after moving to Sweden, and then I discovered Smule. So
that's awesome.
Actually, it was a great timing for me because before that, of course, I was working. I've been working like 5 days per week. So I wouldn't have time, and I was really, really busy and like working overtime all the time.
Right.
But now it's more the work-life balance is better in that sense in Sweden, so I have more time for myself and my family as well, and of course for Smule. So I'm really, really happy to be in Sweden, honestly.
And I've only seen pictures, but Sweden looks like a beautiful country to me.
Yeah, I hear the school system is amazing.
It is. I mean, it's like for me, it's a very safe country. Like the place where we live, the southern part of Sweden, is like very safe, and safety was one of my number one priorities because,
Right.
well, maybe you know, but Turkey is not it is becoming to be not a really safe country because, yeah, well, there's lots of reasons. I won't
Yeah,
go
anybody that
into
can look
Yeah.
up news can see why there's certain countries that are becoming,
Yeah.
including the U.S. That's what I was trying to get. It's not like it's the town that I basically grew up in. Just real quick, went from wholesome safe to get the heck out, and it's the matter of 20 years. So things change, countries change dramatically. So yeah, I get it. Totally
Yeah,
get
yeah,
it.
definitely. It's not the same when I was growing up. So I just wanted her to feel safe in a peaceful environment. And I think that's one of the best decisions that we've ever made for our family.
I don't want to get off topic, but I just got one more real quick question because when she says from Turkey, and it made me think, when you were living in Turkey, how far were you from where that earthquake kept hitting?
Oh, well, very far, I would say. Uh, but it was devastating. It was a horrible disaster. I mean, I just couldn't come to myself for months. It was just a horrific disaster.
I ain't never seen an earthquake like it.
Yeah, it's just horrible, and because the infrastructure around around that region is like really, really bad. The devastation was it was just too much. So many people lost their houses and families. Like,
Crazy.
yeah, I had some friends whose families got affected, unfortunately.
Mm,
Mm, yeah.
not good. Well, back to Smule, Theris.
Yeah, so your Smule name is, I'm gonna attempt to say this like a name, but it may not be. It may mean a couple of, but Etoydemir, is that how you say it? Or Etoydemir?
Yeah,
Etoydemir?
yeah, that's true.
That's
Etoydemir.
pretty.
Yeah, Toydemir is my surname. Well, my husband's surname actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so I almost everywhere I use Etoydemir because it sounds more manly. I just don't want to receive like weird messages from.
Oh, yeah, that's an idea. That's a tactic.
Oh, good luck with that because you get him anyway. Weird.
That's true. On
I
Smule,
mean,
like we get these crazy messages every
yeah,
day.
and I was gonna say earlier when I mentioned the followers and stuff, you can't in Smule, you can't go off of that as far as how well of a vocalist you are, how popular you are in Smule, not like that, because there's so many bots and so many unwanted followers that are there. So you can say half of those are your half of mine are probably people that I've actually sung with, and maybe even less than that. So just for those that aren't familiar with Smule, how it works, that might be watching. Anyway,
Yeah.
so are you any kind of Smule or line groups, or maybe the two are the same? I know a lot of people are. We touched on that several episodes. Does that apply to you as well?
Yeah, yeah. Well, first of all, I'm in Rebel Sky. I'm a Rebel Sky member. I think it's been a year or so. So it's just so much fun being in Rebel Sky as a member. Like the shows are so much fun because I really like musicals and Disney. I usually submit to the Friday shows.
Yeah.
And that's Jesse's show, of course. But like the atmosphere in the chat rooms, it's like Rebel Sky. I really enjoy it. And
I
the
submitted
other,
one for the first time for a Friday show yesterday. I got on
yeah,
for a second and I was hung up doing something. I think I was driving or something. Anyway, so I couldn't really listen to it. But
Ah,
it's a really cool situation to be in, opportunity in the chat rooms and having your. I mean, it's kind of like, hey, my song's on a radio, even though it's not like national. It's just, it's really cool. I agree.
so much fun, and like you get the chance to meet with so many amazing people. So that means a lot to me. So I know so many good people from there. They're my friends and they're so talented. So I really appreciate Rebel Sky, and thank you, Raven.
Raven.
They do a great job. All the DJs do a great job of making those things work. And it's more than that. It's not just making them work. It's actually, when I listen. Like, I'm always critiquing because I'm a judge in a lot of the musical stuff that I do. And the skill that goes into the dedication that goes into that, being a DJ just for an hour, an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever, every day is a lot. And my hat goes off to them. Say, hey, keep it up, keep doing it. You can tell they like doing it, and that's a big part of it. So it just makes it fun.
Yeah, definitely. Like, all the DJs we have are amazing. Casey, Zena, Jesse, Icon, Raven, obviously. Like, I love them so much. All we have become like a family, I think. So they embrace new members, and there's always spot for everyone in Rebel Sky. I think it's a very good
That is true.
station. I enjoy it personally.
That is true.
Yeah.
Where
And
would you say that your love of music comes from? What brought you, what got you into wanting to sing?
well, I've been singing a lot when I was a child. Like, since I was a child, I've been singing. So I don't know. My dad, he loves music so much. My mom as well. And my dad used to play the bass guitar, and his voice is really great too. And then growing up, of course, he wanted to introduce us some musical instruments, and I played the piano, and then during my college years, I started to play the drums. And my brother plays the guitar. So we had this like fun but small garage band at home.
Cool.
On our rooftop. And we used to play like blues rhythms mostly, or like I think we used to play a lot with I don't know, John Denver, like Bob Dylan, Beatles songs, and like some easy stuff, and just Eric Clapton, I think. So I think my love of music comes from there. And at our house, like there was always a music playing on the radio, or someone singing a song. And yeah, that's why I am really used to listening to music, and that's where my love comes from. And I was actually the president of the music club when I was in college. So,
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was just a fun activity, of course. But yeah, since I know myself, since I was like 4 or 5 years old, I've always enjoyed music. So it's basically my life. I just love music so much, every kind of music. I of course I have like have favorite genres, but it's basically
What are
my
those? What are the top genres for you?
Well, rock.
Really?
Yeah.
You couldn't tell, Nick? No, it's kidding. we do have some other songs to play that you've done, little pieces of them. So maybe I jumped the gun. We hadn't probably heard them yet, but
Yeah.
But go ahead. Yeah. What are your go-to genres that are your comfort zones? And then what are some that maybe you want to try that you haven't?
Yeah. Well, my comfort zone is definitely Disney and animated movies, like songs from like soundtracks or like opening songs, things like that. Like songs that require characterization mostly.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, that's my comfort zone, because maybe because I feel that I'm not really comfortable with my main vocals. Maybe
Right.
that's
That makes
right.
sense.
Yeah, and then musicals, which is really hard to sing, but I enjoy and love singing those. And yeah, and I sing rock too. Like if you scroll down my Smule profile, you would see me opening OCs. Like I opened some OCs from Metallica, AC/DC, or like I don't know, Ronnie James Dio, or like, yeah, so many rock songs you can find.
Well, that reminds me, I was looking at your Smule list and I was seeing like all the different Disney songs and stuff like that. And then it was a little bit far down, and all of a sudden I seen Metallica. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. He's like, he's finna say, oh, I'm gonna join this. I'm gonna do these. This is my
Yeah.
song. So
Well, to be honest, like there's two sides of the medallion. I think it's like one side of me is like really dark, and one side of me is like almost like a princess.
that opens up a whole
Oh,
world of songs when you're like that. I mean,
yeah.
I'm one way. I'm like country. I do a little bit of rock or southern rock in the States. It's called southern rock. It's a mixture of country, bluegrass, a little bit of blues,
I
you know,
love
that kind of
that.
stuff. So I don't really. I do a couple of. I think I've done 2 Disney songs in my entire, maybe 3, since I've been on Fuel. I mean, there's some that I want to do, but I'm not that characterization. Like I sit one in for next Friday for the Big Toe on there, and it's a collaboration of 4 people, so it's a group song. I'm not gonna say what it is. You just have to find out. But it was a
Yeah.
Disney movie, and I was actually proud of that one. That was pretty good. So I don't do Disney much. Anyway,
Nice.
we got to take a quick break.
Hey, I did do a couple of musicals. I tried. I'm not great. I did like some
See, that's if you don't know Nick Will, but he's a big character. He could do a lot of characterization if he just
Wow.
I did a couple from Fiddler on the Roof because I love that musical.
Let's take a
Yeah.
quick break, and we'll come back. We've got things to discuss, like the actual comp, Perfectly Puzzled, and how you
We need
feel
to
about
play
that.
another
And
song, man.
I'm gonna play
Great.
another. Yeah, we're gonna play another song. But yeah, let's take this quick break, and we'll be right back.
We'll be right
Yeah.
back.
Hey! Yo! Welcome. What's going on, y'all?
I'm Nick,
And I'm Brandon.
and we have just kicked off season 4 of our podcast, Coast to Coast.
That's right. And this season, we'd like to invite those of you that are on Smule, the online karaoke app, to join us for a little fun, some good old wholesome banter, and a whole lot of music and conversation.
Throughout the season, as a Smule guest, you will also be entered to win recognition in several podcast and Smule-related categories.
Hell yeah. Some of these categories are going to be most viewed episode, funniest guest, and best vocal cover overall, just to name a few.
That's right. All you got to do is click the link below, fill out the form, hit submit, and someone will reach out to schedule a date that's best for you.
And we can't wait to have you on the show. So come on now, click that link below, fill out the form, hit submit, and let's get vocal. Dude, this is gonna be fun.
Strongest ever, breath of the might. He is the son of dragon's light. Our hero claims a warrior's heart. I tell you, the dragonborn comes with the voice wielding power of the ancient Nord arts. dragonborn comes. It's an end to the evil and all Skyrim's foes. Beware, beware, the dragonborn comes. For the darkness has passed and the legend yet grows. You'll know the dragonborns come. La 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 Dovakin, naloksin los varin, vatain vokul, mapera kaspal, afinorok palkran, fonus voksin rosan, Dovakin vahin, kogan mutra. Putra, luhu, kulko, pohot, vahan, bohok, lingrat, pohot, vin, tei, Posig vund och fin Kaj, tusan sol väntar låg Vårt vind full av att nå Vän kostnar låt man bäras att ros Paskar solen kostin not final doing your Dovakin, naloksin los varin, vatain vokul, afera kasmal, afinorok palgran, fonus fonsin rosan, Dovakin vahin, kogan mudran.
I love that. Love that.
Ah. Thank
And she-
you.
And she says she don't feel strong in the lead vocal. That was gorgeous.
Oh, thank you so much, Nick. I try.
I would love to be able to sing that song, but it's when you start singing that Dragonborn language, I don't know if I can get that right.
I practiced. So I think if you practice as well, you will get it right, I'm sure.
Well, I'm going to try, and if I do manage to get it right, I'm going to do as an OC, and you're joining me.
Yes.
I think
yes.
our two, your voice and my lower register would sound pretty wicked.
Oh my goodness, such a dream come true. Go for it.
You're muted, Ferris.
Have you followed her yet, Nick?
Sorry?
I was checking out her page. I can't remember if I clicked follow or not. I was just like,
Oh,
especially when I got to that Dragonborn song, I was kind of mesmerized for a moment.
right.
I have to look. I can't remember.
I totally agree too, by the way, what he said, because I was muted and I couldn't even, y'all didn't hear me. Anyway, yes, I mean, your lead is amazing. Don't cut yourself short with your ability on that. Now you may want to do more to get more comfortable with it. I totally get that, but don't do that. You've got a good lead voice.
Oh, beautiful.
Especially in something like this, which I love because it's soft. You know, that's who I am. I'm not a big vocal.
And see, Ferris, that was a
person.
single one layer song.
One layer.
Gorgeous.
It's amazing.
Thank you so much, guys. I mean, it's of course there are so many amazing vocalists out there, and I don't feel that comfortable, but it means a lot to hear this from you. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm not at all a professional, but I have had plenty of experience in comps and things like that, and heard, oh my God, I don't even know how many songs I've listened to just in comps. So speaking of that, so let's get back into a little bit of the Perfectly Puzzled adventure you're on right now. So you've done 2 rounds completed, working on the 3rd round being judged, right? It's the result to be out soon. How are you feeling about the 3rd round submission?
Well, I'm feeling pretty comfortable with it. it was Distractions, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and yeah, I did a song that I really like to sing, and it just gets stuck in my head all day. So that's why I picked it, and it's from a musical. It's again from my comfort zone, I would say.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's a strategy thing. When you're in a comp, you want to make sure you find a song that fits, that you're
Yeah.
comfortable with, and all that. What is the? I'm curious to know, when you chose a song other than it fits the criteria and it's a comfortable song, was there anything in the song or the way that you were going to arrange it that allowed you, or wouldn't have allowed you to kind of do your best, that kind of scared you about it, that you'd have to kind of work on with the song?
Yeah. So actually, I have done this song before in another comp and got perfect score for that. So, but I just wanted to take a risk. It's for the creativity points, I would say. I was just so scared to do it, to add that layer. It was a layer of grunge, a layer with the grunge effects. I was so scared to do it because I have never done it before. Like, I have never added a grunge layer before to any of my songs, because all I've done before is Disney songs, to be honest, for comps. I've also done some other songs as well, but still haven't used the grunge effect at all. So I was thinking, like, okay, I know that I can do this song, but I don't mind if I don't come, if I'm not in the top 10, or I don't mind if I get eliminated if I add this. So I just tried to encourage myself with that, and I was scared to add it. But then I said, yeah, I will just go for it. I will just take the risk and see how it's interpreted. So I just took the risk and added those grunge layers. So we will see what happens.
Sometimes you got to do that to find just where else you could go with the song. You never really know.
Exactly. So I thought, why not experiment with it right now? So we're in round 3. It's just the perfect timing. Like, and if I get eliminated, I will be able to still submit on standby.
Yeah.
So I told myself that it doesn't matter if I don't come at top 10 this time.
That's a good thing you just brought up. Interesting. I don't know if any other comps have done that with the standby. How does that? Obviously, it gives you a one last chance to stay in it, depending on, submissions or non-submissions, the places that are opened up for the next round. But how does that make you feel? And compared to other comps, is it something you thought about, you wish comps would do, or never crossed your mind, or how do you feel about with this comp allowing that standby?
Well, I think the admins, I mean, Raven thought through this, so I think it's a great addition, and I have never seen it in another comp, to be honest. I haven't been in too many comps, but I think it's a great addition to the comp, and it just gives us equal chances, because everyone has lives, and we can all have bad weeks. Right. So and it's okay if we do bad in one round or even 2 rounds. It just doesn't matter. So I think this was really thought through, and I really appreciate that the admin team in Perfectly Puzzled decided to put this standby entry. I've never come to a situation where I was almost eliminated. Luckily, I was. I have always made it to at least top 10. But generally speaking, I think it's a very good opportunity because, like, for instance, I had a family crisis this week, and maybe I wasn't going to be able to submit if things went really wrong. and then I would just submit my entry the way it is, and if I got eliminated, then I would be happily join the next round as a standby entry. So I really appreciate that we have it, to be honest, and it's just different from the other comps, so that's really good.
Well, I'm glad it worked out as a admin and staff, because voices like yours make our jobs so much more pleasant. And for you to be you're not really a rookie in Smule, but for you to be as far as you are as quickly as you got in there, I'm impressed. It's really neat. To see how you do things, and with that app that is not supposed to be as engineer friendly as what people like you make it seem to be. Make it look easy, and I hate it.
He hates it.
I can't do it, so it's like I just envious of everybody else that can. I'll get there in 10 years.
I think it has a formula, Ferris. To be honest,
yeah.
Making layers is just a formula, and you just need to execute it. So I think you can also do it.
I've dabbled a little bit. We're getting there. I think Nick has even dabbled a little bit. We're getting there. You have to, if you have an ambition to be in any comps, you have to be able to at least 3-part harm, at least try. If not, they're just gonna crucify you. I mean, it's just not gonna happen. So
that's
we're
true.
Change that with things coming up. We might have a comp in the future that is what we said earlier. So those of y'all watching, don't let that scare you. Come show us what you got with a solo.
That's
We
right.
want to hear your voice.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, you've already proven you can do it, so I don't want to hear it.
Not only Elif don't know this either. We did it once with in your bar shaker. Is we were doing single takes.
I love he calls it bar shaker, bartender shake up.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got it. I'm
getting to the point with Elif is we've done it where you don't get to even sing your one layer over until you get it right. You sing it once, and whatever you put out, that's what you submit.
Yeah, we did a basically a single take thing where you just sing it. That's it.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
The more I feel like, and I've talked to a lot of people on Smule that at least agree with the premise of the idea. The more people do a single take and just save it, the better they'll get, at least at that song. Right? You'll get to know that song better. You'll be able to sing it on stage anytime you go to an open, actual live thing, and you'll feel more confident about that song or those songs you do it with. That's kind of the idea.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's other songs you're not familiar with. You just learned it or whatever, and you have to kind of stop and go back and fix it. I get that. Anyway, that's the idea.
It also makes it more fun because you're not just stressed out doing layers and doing it over and over trying to get it perfect. You're just doing something. It could end up just being humorous, but it just puts a little more fun into it. It's a little break.
Do you have a personal connection with the theme of the comp, autism or neurodivergent or?
Well, growing up, we had a family friend whose son was autistic, and I remember that, like, I was really, really small, like maybe 4 or 5, and he was older than me, maybe like 9 years old, and I was trying to play with him, like trying to communicate with him, and he never spoke, and of course. At that time, I wasn't able to understand because I was just a small kid, and I kept on asking his parents why he wasn't able to speak or read a book to me, because I remember myself begging him to read a book for me so that we can become friends and like spend some time together. And they try to explain that he's autistic and he's a bit different. But of course he understands you, but he just doesn't speak. So they said to me at that time when I was a kid, just try to communicate with him in a different way. So that's when I quit asking him to, read me books. And then I realized that he plays the piano, so that was our common thing, actually. So
Ah.
he used to play the piano to me, and I used to accompany him, like enjoy the songs that he was playing. So yeah, now he's like a fully grown up man, but of course we haven't talked for years. But then I have another close friend who is autistic, and she's a genius, and like she's like a literal genius. I consult her on so many things, like personal life, work life, even. She's just fantastic. She has the brightest one. She has one of the brightest minds, I think. And I really appreciate that Raven and the team is doing this autism awareness comp. It's just fabulous. And like in the chat room, people are sharing their own experiences. I think that's amazing. I really enjoyed reading about those. And I don't know, but I don't know if the other comps do this, but I really like when the round info comes in, before the round info comes in, there is like an informative part about that round info, which I really appreciate and enjoy reading, to be honest. So I guess that's my personal connection with the comp. So I'm really enjoying it, to be honest.
So you've been able to grow quite a bit in the autistic knowledge just in the last 3 rounds. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, definitely. I've been reading the things that Raven has shared in the chats, and I have learned that well, I didn't know this. Maybe it's on me, but I learned that autism has levels, which I wasn't aware.
Mm-hmm.
And
Definitely on a spectrum.
Yeah, and mostly I've really enjoyed people opening up about their own life experiences about this, like their daughters or sons are autistic, maybe, so they're sharing these in the chat rooms, and I think it's all about creating this community and network. So I think Perfectly Puzzled is doing great in that sense.
I agree. I'm really proud of everybody that's put into it, especially my wife and Raven, what the hell they put into it, plus all the other staff, that the time they put in it totally for free. You know, nobody gets paid to do this stuff. But yeah, I think what's special about autism, as opposed to other things that people deal with in life, like cancer and Alzheimer's and things like that, with autism, it really is about awareness. You're not going to cure autism or Asperger's or ADHD or anything that might be on the spectrum. It's a learning for everybody outside of the person that challenges with it. You know what I mean? It has challenges with it. So it's if people would understand that autism awareness is the key, not cure, I think more people would be, oh, I just got to learn about it. Okay. But then you have to try to, when you run across somebody with autism, no matter what level they are, take what you've learned and realize that they are different, but you can learn a whole lot from them if you just open up and listen and watch. That's really what it's all about. And they feel more included that way. Exactly.
It doesn't need a cure, to be honest.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Maybe the knowledge is the cure. Us understanding, those of us that don't have it, that don't deal with it, that's the cure, is knowledge, so that we can live with it. Is not the right word. That sounds so demeaning, but we can adjust our lifestyles to somebody that is like my son is autistic. He's level 3. He's nonverbal for now. He's starting to kind of open up. So we may have some progress over the next few years, but in his mind, he's more of a 3-year-old at the age 6, you know, so he's behind where he should be. But learning him is the cure. Learning what we can do as a family unit, both in the house and at school, to accommodate him. That's the cure. That's how you deal with that, and they become more productive, whatever, citizens or members of society or whatever. That's the key.
Absolutely.
In my mind.
Definitely agree. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, very well stated. I think I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I have a son that's got Asperger's. I have a nephew with autism.
Mm.
But I also have a daughter with narcolepsy, which is another thing that nobody really understands. It's pretty sad, but
Yeah.
you work with it.
Yep. So you've had a chance. One last thing about the comp, and then we'll wrap up and let you go live your life in Sweden. I had to do that one time, even though it's pronounced right, whatever. I like to ask the way that the comp creators, and I'm not including myself in that because it's yeah. But just the way that you can see every round up front and kind of get a game plan on song choice early. How much does that, it benefits everybody because everybody has access to it, but how much has that really benefited you in your different in comparison to the other comps you've done? Like, wow, we know everything about it. I can game plan and schedule better. Like, for me, that would be the biggest thing: schedule my life for the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely a game changer. I can tell you that. It's just for perfectionists like me. It saves so much time. To be honest, like knowing the round themes beforehand, it's just amazing, because then you're both psychologically ready for what's coming next. You're not surprised. You can read the round requirements, and then you can even pick a song. Like, just sit down and for half an hour and just pick your songs for the upcoming 5 rounds. Like, when I saw from round 1 that all round infos were there, I was really happy, to be honest. It just saves so much time. Like, I have also planned ahead, but this is the like, picking songs has always been the worst part for me, because I'm really bad at picking songs. It's just it takes too much time and effort. It's just I sometimes lose myself when I try to pick songs, and I waste too much time. And I think that's what, like, one of the reasons why Perfectly Puzzled in that sense is like really different in a good way from the other comps. I think I've never seen a setup like this before in another comp, so I really appreciate that this was all thought through and shared with us beforehand. Like, this really explains that you guys like know the balance between personal life. Like, you guys understand that we all have lives, basically, and this is the real life singing contest. So
well, we figured out, I know a lot of people figured out early when you have a hard schedule, like not knowing what you're singing week to week, and you finally get it and you're like, okay, I've got a day or 2 to pick a song, 3 days to sing this and get it together. Stress really creeps in, and then you end up not doing your best. You end up not liking the comp. Agitation comes in the chat room, and it just becomes not fun,
exactly.
And I think that part helped, along with the transparency of the scores and things like that, the way we do it, and the accountability we have as a judging staff, and really, quite frankly, the entire staff has accountability, from the coaches to judges to admins. Was like, if this goes down, it's on all of us. Right. That's a big thing. A lot of comps don't really take. And I'm sorry, I mean, there'll be some people in other comps that watch this, and I don't care, but I've been in so many that a lot of comp people, staff, they don't look at that. Like, they're just like, well, we're here for them. So no, you're there for the contestants. You're there for them. You created a comp. You're a part of a team. You're there for them, so they have more fun than you. And I know you don't get paid for it, but I'm on a soapbox here. But I know you don't get paid for it, but you volunteered. And when you commit to do something, do it. That's the way this comp is really ran. And everybody's great. Everybody is awesome.
Yeah. It's that a comp is definitely supposed to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Perfectly Puzzled is so much fun. I've been having so much fun with my songs. And the other entries are also amazing. So I really enjoy them as well. And the hype tracks that you guys put in there, it's always so much fun to listen to them. And you guys, I know that you guys are amazing too. So thank you for that, for encouraging us. It's just such a relief from stress, I think, and it makes it more fun.
Absolutely. Ferris, beans, bullets, and band-aids.
Beans, bullets, and band-aids. That's it.
Hey, all right. So, Elif, you must be like a Star Wars person, would you say?
Definitely.
Big
show.
fan.
Well, between the shirt, and I know I've seen a picture, you had like a collection of Star Wars stuff.
Yeah. I really love Star Wars. It's just stuck with me because of my brother, I would say. He's a huge fan. He used to write in the forums and like play Star Wars games, and like we watched Star Wars movies like countless times together. And then I got married, and then I became a huge fan of Lego. And then I decided to make a Lego collection. Star Wars, Harry Potter, and like some Disney stuff as well. But right now we have mostly Star Wars Legos. I really enjoy them. I'm a huge nerd.
I miss Legos. I miss
He's just
Legos.
like a friend of mine. I got a buddy that goes to camp with me, and he's a Star Wars nut. He's got costumes. He's got the lightsabers, like the ones you actually lightsaber fight with. And he's also Harry Potter, and he's a huge Lego nut too. It's pretty funny.
That's really cool. Well, for now, I cannot really afford a huge lightsaber, but I would love that.
Maybe a Star Wars themed comp will come along, and that would be the grand prize.
That would be interesting.
Anybody watching that creates comps, to make a Star Wars comp so Elif can win that sucker and get that thing. Okay. I noticed just a little tidbit about Star Wars. I actually ran across a TikTok video day for yesterday where they were revealing they had, I guess, all three directors and producers of the films, previous films, and the stuff on the Disney Plus and all that, the Mandalorian and everything. Like I said, I'm not really big on it. I just know where there's a lot of films out there, a lot of shows that are already out there, and they were basically, letting cat out of the bag that there's a lot more coming, like movies and episodes. Have you heard anything about that? Like they're going into all these other storylines that have been written, and then also creating some too as they write movie scripts and television scripts and things like that. So
yeah, it's becoming it's definitely becoming popular again, like with Mandalorian and what was it's Boba Fett, I think.
Yeah.
Those with those series, it has become very popular once again, because as far as I know, it was popular in the 70s mostly.
Yep. And I find it interesting.
They came out with a movie just on Han Solo, which I haven't even seen yet. Crazy enough.
Yeah. I found it interesting that the history, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they started with episode 4 because they didn't think the storyline of 1 through 3 was really going to take off in the 70s. So can you imagine if they had done it opposite? What would have happened? I don't know.
Never know.
Yeah, like I have always dreamed of if they can really shoot the first movies once again, maybe. I don't know if that would happen, but that storyline is honestly my favorite when I compare it to the new ones.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I definitely prefer the old school stuff in
It
Star Wars.
probably can explain a little bit why you've got fans of both, or fans are both fans of Star Wars and Harry Potter, because the storylines are very similar. I mean, if you look at it, they're very in sync with each other. With you can look at anything and see a connection, but I mean, there's a lot of things that connect together. So that's probably why, because that storyline is a good one. 4 through 6 episodes are really good storyline. That's where they, I think that's where they should have started, and that's why they did it. So without that in the 70s, it would have been Star Wars. Star Trek would have been more popular. How about that?
Probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, we do have one more little sound bite that we'd like to play of one of your songs. I really enjoyed, pre-screening this song. It's very, in a great way, interesting. That when I ran across that you sent this, actually, and I appreciate you doing it. But Nick, I don't think you've heard it. Have you heard it yet?
I don't believe I have.
Okay, that's awesome, because you're going to get a kick out of this.
De mi llorona, llorona de azul celeste. Ay, de mi llorona, llorona de azul celeste. Y aunque la vida me cueste, llorona, no dejaré de quererte, no dejaré de quererte. Me subí al pino más alto, llorona, a ver si te divisaba. Me subí al pino más alto, llorona, a ver si te divisaba. Como el pino era tierno, llorona, al verme llorar, lloraba. Como el pino era tierno, llorona, al verme llorar, lloraba. La pena y la que no es pena, llorona, todo es pena para mí. La pena y la que no es pena, llorona, todo es pena para mí. Ayer lloraba por verte, llorona, hoy lloro porque te vi. Ayer lloraba por verte, llorona, hoy lloro porque te vi. Ay de mí, llorona, llorona, llorona del azul celeste. Ay de mí, llorona, llorona, llorona del azul celeste. Y aunque la vida me cueste, llorona, no dejaré de quererte. Y aunque la vida me cueste, llorona, no dejaré de quererte. No dejaré de quererte. No dejaré de quererte. Ay, 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 ay.
That was awesome.
I told you he'd like it. It's something about a language we don't understand that we just really like.
That's our second song in another language you've had recently.
The other ones. Go ahead.
I don't know Spanish, so excuse my pronunciation.
It sounded fine to me. Yeah, I know a little bit of Spanish. I've had the pleasure of being around a lot of Hispanic folks over the years, and diction sounded all amazing. Of course, I don't speak it, so there might be some mistakes there, but I don't know. It sounded
Yeah.
great to me.
Good to know. Thank you so much.
So you just sang a song that you don't even really know the language.
Yeah.
Did you at least look up the meaning of it so you could tell us? Because I'd like to know what it was talking about.
So
Just saying.
I think it's La Llorona is a woman who lost her babies and like it's just
Okay.
yeah, it's a ghost in I
Ooh,
think
that's
it's
up Nick's alley.
yeah, it's like I don't want to go into detail because I don't know it that
Sure.
well.
Well, we'll just have to look it up for ourselves and see what because that's very interesting. Very
But I
well
gotta
done.
say, dude, if she just sang that song and she don't even know that language really, and her lead again, you
I
do not
know.
have a lead problem.
And we have trouble with English, our native language, and
I can't.
songs.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Guys.
Maybe I should never sing again. I feel like I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
We do this to ourselves though. We get people on that are fantastically, it's a fantastic vocalist, and it's like
We're like,
why
what are we
this?
doing?
We don't want. I have an open Smule, and I didn't even do a round song this week because I mean, ever since the last guest we had on, Rena, I was like, I don't really feel like doing one now. You know, I don't have to. I'm gonna be in the entire comp. I'm not gonna get booted out. So might as well. I do enjoy doing them. I might do one next week. I just didn't do one this week because I just got busy, and I had like 5 picked out too. Anyway, it's been amazing to have you on here.
Yes.
I really enjoy being able to listen to the songs you sent in to us. As a producer, that's a perk. And then I've all the pictures you've sent in, just kind of get to know who you are. Amazing. You seem like a very genuine, honest person, and I again am glad to have you. And I speak for all the staff on Perfectly Puzzled in this comp. It's amazing to have you in here. You're a great addition, and we hope that you go far.
Thank you so much. It's been great to meet you, and it's so much fun to chat with you. I'm so happy that you invited me to this podcast. So I really appreciate it, and thank you so much.
Well, with that, we hope we get you back here because we kind of feel like you're a good friend now.
Yes.
So
Don't
you
forget
can
to
always come
subscribe.
back. That's right.
I'd love that.
With that, everybody, I just want to say like, subscribe, comment, share this because this girl's good, man.
And if you want to be a
Enjoy the
guest
show.
on Let's Get Vocal Coast to Coast podcast, there's a link down there.
Right down
Click
there.
it, fill out
Click
the
it.
questionnaire, and we'll have you on.
That's right. All right.
Awesome.
Well, Elif, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Have a
thank you
beautiful
again.
rest of your day.
Thank
Love you guys
so
out there in
much.
podcast land. Be good till next time.
Later, y'all.
Bye.